There is a cap on all of the beautiful things we can experience in life that you have when you have low self-worth. There is a cap, and it's very low, of how much you can hold, because your body and your brain won't allow it for you, won't want it for you, because you don't think you're worthy of it. Today I'm speaking on why you have low self-worth. When we live our life walking every day with this false idea that we are not worthy and we are not enough, we will create so many bad things, okay? And what I mean by create is we will create terrible moods, terrible depressive cycles, terrible decisions, terrible actions, because we think that those things are what we are worth and what we should have in our life because of the level of worth we think we have. Okay, it can cause us to choose bad partners. It can cause us to go into very downward spirals, like I said, over minor things in our external reality. It can cause us to shut down our emotions and shut down the care we have for ourselves just because we have this false idea. So it's a priority for me to help you with this. So I'm going to help you understand today why you have this false idea to help you overcome it. So, before we begin, my name is Naomi Dunn, and I'm an inner work coach and an EFT practitioner, and I help people with emotional processing and trauma processing and perspective shifts to help them with their current emotional situation. If you feel called to coaching, I offer that, and that can be booked through the link down below. And this is Disrupt Your Norm. This is my podcast and my YouTube channel, and I speak on all things personal development. So if you love developing yourself as a person, I really recommend you subscribe. Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is really important to understand, and that is that we don't have to remember our trauma, remember our past pains in order to heal from them. So whatever reason you got this idea that you have the low self-worth, it is not necessary for you to understand and know exactly what happened for you to overcome this and to know that you have worth. Okay, but the idea of here to overcome this and to help you overcome this is for us to have the understanding that whatever happened to us, despite if we remember it or not, the idea that you got is always and will forever be a false lie. Okay, the truth is your worth can't fluctuate. It is not possible for worth to fluctuate. You have worth. You were created and born with worth. So how do we get this false lie? I'm going to try to reiterate that as much as I can. How did we obtain this false lie that we don't have worth? When we were born into the world as babies, we cried when we were sad. We let our parents know when we were hungry, when we needed a diaper change, because we knew we had worth. We knew we were worthy of being taken care of. We weren't ashamed of ourselves. We were upset with ourselves. We lived our life just being who we were, crying when we needed to cry, being exactly who we were to the core. So this means that you were born with knowing you had worth, but then something happened in the meantime that gave you the false lie that you don't have worth. So how this happens is it happens through, I'm not just going to say childhood trauma, it is most likely through something that happened in your childhood that gave you this false idea, but there are many things that can happen in our life, not just in childhood, that can give us the idea. So there was something that happened in your life once, twice, or multiple times that gave you this false lie, this idea that you were not worthy. Through somebody else's actions, you internalized the idea that you were not worthy. So this is really common, of course, with childhood trauma. If you were neglected or abused, someone doesn't have to outright say to you, you are not worthy. But when someone treats you as if you don't have worth, that is the internalized idea you will obtain. So if you are abused or if you were neglected, you will get the idea, I'm not worthy of being loved. I'm not worthy of being taken care of. I'm not worthy of being cherished, of being adored, of being cared for. Okay? So it comes from our experiences that gave us the false idea. The truth is that if we get this idea from another person and another person's action, the truth is that most of the time, the person who did these things, neglected you, said these things, treated you in this way that gave you this idea, that person very, very, very likely didn't even think you didn't have worth. That person was just doing the best that they knew how based on their traumas, their dysregulated nervous system, or whatever was going on in their life. But they never actually thought you were unworthy. That's a very unlikely scenario, that you were actually thought of as unworthy. So that's important to understand. that even the person who hurt us or the people that hurt us, it's actually very unlikely that they thought we were unworthy. We just internalized because of their actions that we were unworthy because of what they did. Sometimes we don't even have to go through bigger T traumas. We go through little T traumas. We go through little experiences in life that happen over time that give us this false idea. So I don't want you thinking just because you didn't have traumas in the past, you can't walk around with having low self-worth. No, it's possible for you too, okay? There are multiple things that can happen. So trauma, abuse, neglect, that's very likely, and it's so common for someone to feel like they're not worthy because of the actions of the parent who was taking care of them, the guardian that was taking care of them. Other things that can happen, of course, is rejection in friendships, rejection from family, rejection of any form as a child or when we were younger as a teenager. Rejection of any form will also give us this idea, this false lie that we are not worthy. We have to understand two things in this situation. One, somebody else's actions is never a reflection of your worth. It is always and will forever be a reflection of their current or their state of being in that moment. Okay? It's just a reflection of them. And we have to know this because we have to see it for what it is. Would you ever, and this is deep and this is sad, but this analogy I'm about to give is specifically for the person who has had negative childhood experiences that created this false lie. Would you ever look at a child who isn't being treated right and say to the child, "You're not being treated right, so you're not worthy"? In what world could that ever make sense? It can't. Because it's not true. It's not possible for that to be true. Of course the child is worthy. They just haven't been treated right. Would you say to the child, "It's your fault you're not being treated right"? So we have to see it for what it is, like I said. So we can take that step back and realize, okay, I was treated in a certain way. I had certain experiences. But hold up. Those experiences never dictated my worth. They were just experiences I had. They were actions of other people, but they never meant I didn't have worth. Create this knowing first, okay? It is not our fault that we developed this knowing. It's just how the brain works. The brain loves to internalize and create false messages based on the actions and the experiences we have in life. But the biggest component of personal development is realizing the lies that are in your brain and shifting them to the truth, okay? So that we can pursue and do and love ourselves and experience a beautiful life, okay? We have to shift those lies. And so seeing it for what it is the first biggest step, okay? Seeing that it's a lie. And this kind of ties into that same point, but the second thing is that we have to understand that it is a lie. It is a lie that we can now change. There is nothing that you could ever do that will make you not have worth. If you were designed and created and put on this earth, you have worth. There is a cap on all of the beautiful things we can experience in life that you have when you have low self-worth. There is a cap, and it's very low, of how much you can hold because your body and your brain won't allow it for you, won't want it for you because you don't think you're worthy of it. When we rid this lie from our mind that we are not worthy, the cap increases. Suddenly, we start to allow better relationships into our life. Suddenly, we get the business ideas that are going to better our life. Suddenly, we know the paths to go down that is going to make our life better because we now care about ourselves. We now know we are deserving of it and we can have those things. We don't lower our quality of life subconsciously, intentionally, just because we think we are worthy of a crappy life. This is why it's so important to know your worth. Stay humble. Don't have a big ego. I never will promote that. Allow good shame to move you out of bad choices into good choices. Don't think you're better than everybody else, but don't walk around with this false lie. If you want a more detailed video on exactly the best step that I took for myself to get myself out of having excess shame and such low self-worth, I'm going to put that video on the screen. I really know it's going to help you if this is something that you have been struggling with. So please watch that video next if you are ready to finally know that you have worth. If you want help, if you want somebody by your side as you are trying to rewire your mind and remove those traumas from the body that created the low self-worth, that is something I love helping people with. with and coaching them on. So if you want, again, that person by your side or to help you with that processing, I do offer that, and that can be booked down below through the link if you're interested. Okay, thank you for watching. I really hope this helped you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.